Well, welcome in, everybody.
Oh, or don't. Just quit. Today's a quitting day. Today I'm a quitter.
I'm a quitter.
I'm a quitter and I'm proud.
I'm ugly and I'm brown.
Super Weenie Hut Jr.
Look at that drum.
Because ugly and I'm proud is SpongeBob.
Oh, see, Super Weenie Hut Jr. is one of our go-to nicknames for our dog.
It's also I quote it from SpongeBob.
Yeah.
Because they're like, when he's trying to get into the cool kids bar. And then they're like, you belong in Super Weenie Hut Jr. And he's like, not Super Weenie Hut Jr. Have you not seen that episode?
I've seen the episode, and so I know it's from SpongeBob, but I didn't put two and two together.
Oh, no, that's where I always get it. Super Weenie Hut Jr. Because that describes her very well.
She is a super weenie,
Mhm.
and her hut is Junior. So
Yeah. I identify as Junior Hut. That is the being. She identifies as Junior Hut.
there you go.
Yeah, she's a shit.
Well, I've been sitting and waiting on this one for a while.
You've been waiting so patiently.
I have been. This is my first time in the Christmas theme here, so all the decor and everything like that. Like this is making me feel kind of festive.
I gave you the cool tree.
I do get the tree with the little jingle bells.
You little jingle bells.
I don't know if you guys can hear the jingle bells.
Connor smells.
Ouch. I just showered.
I know.
That's so rude.
This is just my mood for the day, is my random thoughts and gibberish. That's just all it is today. Today is gibberish and nothingness within this winter storm.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
What's our topic of the day? Because I remember you told me, but that was like a week and a half ago.
Did you forget already?
I did forget.
Well, that's very sad. So you know how most episodes, after I'm done reading a story, I'm like, yeah, I'd probably shit my pants after that. These are stories that make me want to shit my pants.
Okay, I remember now. This is like the one time she's ever actually told me the premise of the episode, and now out of nowhere I just forget it, and now I got a live reaction again.
Yep, these are some pants shitters, so prepared to be liquified, and it's gonna be great.
Is this a pants shitters prepared to be like
Pants soaked, and not the good kind.
I don't know if there's a good kind of soaked pants. I'm gonna leave that one just for you guys to interpret. But
these are pants shitters. I hope people are listening to this and then they have to take a pause, like just a break, because then, bathroom break.
Maybe they're listening to this on their bathroom break, and we're just trying to
That'd be convenient. I mean, you don't have to move it all. The pants are already off.
Boss makes $1, I make a dime.
That's why I poop on company time. Yeah.
Yeah, they got a half-hour long poop that they're just sitting there.
And a mini musical.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready to shit your pants?
No.
I am.
Oh, okay.
Gotta clean out the bowels. Pooping's important to people.
Got a diaper?
No, adult diapers aren't really my thing. I mean, I could put a pad on, but I don't know if that'll catch them.
I don't think
I don't know. It's not my thing. I'd rather just throw the whole pants and underwear away.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, prepare to be liquefied. All right? So my apologies for how long this post is probably going to be. Also, since it is a paranormal thing, I'm sure I'll get plenty of folks crying bullshit. But it happened. I don't know what to tell people if they think it's full of shit. My fiancé at the time, now my wife, worked at this neuropathic medical clinic in an old farmhouse converted to a doctor's office. The house was built in the 1890s or close to that. Big place, full basement, upstairs attic space that was converted into a 2-bedroom apartment that she ended up renting from her boss. Now, the place was known to all the staff to be haunted, though nobody told me about it. After the fact, I heard all about seeing a little girl at the top of the old stairs all the time. The stairs were now capped and used to go to the attic prior to it being an apartment. Even without that place, it has some creepy vibes. In the basement is the original 6-foot wide hang-dug well. Something super off about it. Even more creepy is there's a tunnel that goes from the basement to an old outbuilding 30 feet away.
No.
Right under the yard and all. Bad vibes down there all around. She and I each had dogs, and at this place and nowhere else, they would avoid the kitchen and especially the pantry. When I say avoid, we fed them in the kitchen and they would run up the walls and they would eat as fast as they could and then leave immediately. Normally, my dog is right there in the kitchen hoping to get some people food. Not here. At night, every night, between like midnight and 3 a.m., it would smell like a combination of burning garbage and rot. If you went outside, the smell would fade within like 10 feet of the structure. Electrical would fail in different parts of the randomly mysterious breakers, and nothing was tripped. So my wife gets into an argument with her boss, who now expects her to be a full-time daycare provider for her toddler instead of medical reception. They argue. She quits. Doctor says she wants her out by the end of the month. My wife says she will be gone by the end of the week. End of the week was like 3 days away. So she packed for 2 days and I rented a U-Haul, and Friday evening, she, my buddy, and I loaded the truck. I eventually sent her to my place to crash as she had to work at her second job early in the morning. That left just my buddy and I to finish moving. It was either a full moon or close to it. I doubt that has anything to do with what happened, but it was one of those nights where the moon was so bright it left shadows on everything, which is fairly rare and a very cool thing when it happens. Around midnight, we took a break and sat on the floor in the new vacant living room. The door outside was on the opposite wall from us, and there were two skinny windows on either side of the door. Something caught my eye, and I looked to the left window in time to see a light move across it. I didn't say or do anything. My buddy all of a sudden says, "Do you see that?" I ask him what, and he says he saw a light go by in the right window. Outside the door is a deck with stairs going down, but directly across from the door and windows is a huge hedge. No way light came from out there. So I say I saw it too, and I let him know it was a reflection. I tell him not to freak out. He freaks the hell out anyway. We go back to moving stuff, and he won't stop acting triggered over it. I tell him to ignore it or it'll get worse. I lived in a mildly haunted place for a year as a kid, and no reacting is the wrong way to go. He says okay, but is on edge constantly. So far, I'm as cool as a clam. My buddy freaks out and says he saw some old woman standing in the pantry as we were walking back inside. I didn't see anything. Still, he is really starting to lose it. Like, to the point he is reluctant to go back inside. We walk back down the steps and smoke a cigarette. He looks down at the ground and says, "What the fuck?" There is a little stump from a tree that someone cut down at some point, and it's literally oozing sap out. The weirdest thing I have ever seen at the time. They are reflecting really well in the moonlight. We go back inside. We are almost done. I check a bedroom. All that's left in her daughter's room is a dresser and a Furby. I swear to God this Furby haven't been used or turned on in like 2 years. But sure as shit, though, as I'm about to pick it up, its eyes flutter open and it starts talking Furby nonsense. At this point, I am not keeping my cool well at all. Mostly because the entire time there has been this weird building feeling. At first, it was just kind of uncomfortable, but then it kept building. At this point, it was this kind of dread. I don't know how to explain it, and it was getting worse more quickly than when it started. I literally picked up the Furby, opened the nearest window, and threw it out into the lawn. Go back to packing the truck. Now, in a big hurry, something terrible is coming. My buddy feels it too. Almost everything in the truck now, and it's almost 2:45 a.m. I'm standing in the back of the truck, and he is tossing me stuff to stack. All of a sudden, the thing that was coming wasn't coming anymore. It was here. He is facing the truck. I'm looking out of the back, and I see it. Whatever it is. It was on the other side of the fence, but you could make it out through the gaping in the boards. I jumped out of the truck, yelling, "We're leaving now." My buddy stops, dumbfounded, and asks why. I'm already in the cab when I yell to get in the fucking truck. He turns around and looks behind him, and he sees it too. He sprints into the cab, and we leave without even closing the back door. I didn't tell him what I'd seen, but when he saw it, my eyes saw too. A big black shadow, like a bodybuilder had eaten a cargo truck of steroids, big and eyes looking through the fence that glowed, kind of like coals at a fire do. The next day, I told the story to my wife, and she let me know everyone knew it was haunted, and she had seen the light in the windows before too, which is why she said she had gotten curtains to cover them. She said her daughter had been bothered by them the whole time she was there. She talked me into going back for the patio furniture, though I didn't want to. We pulled up, and I swear to God, you could see something pacing in the flower bed in the front of the fence. Well, you couldn't see it, just the footprints it was making. I told her, no, I am not doing it. Get back in the truck. We will buy new patio shit. We drove off, and after a couple minutes, she said, I saw it too. I've never set foot on the property again, and I never will. I can't explain the feeling when I say dread, but that doesn't cover it. The feeling that night wasn't fear of death or some horror. It was something way worse than dying, if that makes any sense. Everyone can say this is stupid and a made up horror story. It isn't. I believed in ghosts because I had seen them as a kid. Whatever was waiting behind us in that fence, that wasn't a ghost. I don't know what it was, and I honestly hope I never find out.
See, this is something that I'm trying to like put myself into the place of these two guys, just like middle of the night. They know weird stuff happens at this house, and then all of a sudden they just get like that like sinking feeling, like, oh shit,
Ugh,
something's
it's a
coming.
terrible feeling.
Like hairs on the back of your neck start sticking up and everything like that. Like,
When you just feel like something's coming, that is such a terrible feeling. And these poor guys, in the middle of the night, man, they have dedication.
yeah, to be there till 3 a.m. trying to finish the
Mm-hmm.
move, I would have been like, dude, it's like 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Can we go home and sleep it off and then just finish in the morning? Like, do we really got to be out tonight? Well, it would have been the morning anyway by the time they finished, so
Yeah.
whatever.
Oh my gosh. I can't, I can't imagine. I want to know what they saw. I need a descriptor because I know they said it was really big and everything.
Then that's extra strange. So,
Ugh. All right. Next story.
next story.
Okay. Number 2. My 3-year-old daughter talks about a guy called Mr. Longneck and says creepy stuff about it. I'll begin by saying I am personally more on the side of a skeptic frame of mind with any paranormal experience. But enough things have happened in the last year to make me at least question that and entertain the possibility that this is legit. And not just my daughter's active imagination. These events have occurred only in the house my husband and I bought in June of 2017, which was built in the 1920s. First, in October of 2017, I was laying her down for bed, in the dark, with only the moonlight lighting the bedroom. She pointed across the room and asked, Mom, who's that guy? I looked for a toy or something she could be referring to, but saw nothing. So I asked, What guy, honey? She responded that he was right there and gestured to the closed bedroom door. Still curious, I asked her what he was doing, in case I could piece together some recent episode of pretend play or a toy she commonly talked about. She said he was hiding. I asked if he was scared. She said, No, he's hiding. Creepy. During this whole exchange, she was calm and chipper, not scared. What made it strange was that she was 2 at the time and didn't really engage in pretend play or storytelling at that point. And as I mentioned, no toys were in sight. From there, we just had a funny toddler story to tell our friends and family that we affectionately named That Guy. This is the umbrella name we generally used for any other episodes or weird stuff that happened around the house. That guy is pulling a prank. Next, in January or February of 2018, I was again laying her down for bed along with her then 6-month-old brother. We were doing the usual cuddle up night-night talk when she said something along the lines of, "Now it's time for bed, just me and you and him and her." My skeptic mind wouldn't argue with that. Him could have easily been her brother, too. But at the time, she was still adjusting to having a sibling and rarely mentioned him. And he wasn't included in any of her talk that we were just having. What really was strange was her. Who's her? The only other female in the house is our cat, and she wasn't in the room at the time. Also, no toys were in bed with us, and none were near the vicinity of her bed that she could have been talking about. A little later that spring, a new name came into the conversation: Mr. Longneck. Short backstory. My daughter has this weird thing where she likes touching necks. Sometimes it's cuddly, sometimes it's when she's playing. We can't really explain it other than kids do weird stuff sometimes. And it started before we moved into this house. Anyway, she was getting put down for a nap and was a little high-strung. She was doing her usual neck-grabbing thing and suddenly did it a little tougher than usual, but not enough to hurt, and said in a growly voice, "Mr. Longneck, Mr. Longneck." I had never heard her use this name, and it isn't a character in any YouTube or Netflix show she watches. So I asked who Mr. Longneck was. She just kind of giggled it off and was asleep 10 minutes later. This was when I started getting creeped out a bit by her stories. In April of 2018, my husband found a time capsule in one of our heating vents, and we spent the afternoon looking through it. There had been a fire in our home in 2009, which we knew about, and in which no one was hurt. During the renovation, after the fire, the owners at the time found a bunch of old stuff in the walls and included it with some small pictures of the fire and a couple newspaper clippings. Among the old stuff was a pack of pearl buttons, some store catalogs from the 1940s, and a small notebook with some handwritten names inside. I presume that these are names of the original inhabitants, and I plan to find the book again and look up the history behind the names inside as well. After all this, my husband and I are suspicious that if there is something paranormal going on, maybe these objects are keeping some energy here. I know this is long, but we're almost done here. In about October of 2018, I was driving to my mother's house with only my son and daughter in the car. Along the way, my daughter, now 3, asked from the back seat, "Mom, is that Grandpa?" I said, "Where?" She pointed to the empty front seat and said, "Right there." I told her Grandpa was at home, and he had just recently moved in with us due to health issues. There was no one around on the street or sidewalks for her to point at either. Now, there have been minor other events that have happened, but these were the biggest ones to describe in detail. I've posted about this in another subreddit as well and received advice to engage with her further in the conversation when it comes up. While we have, to an extent, to encourage her to become comfortable talking about it, I never pushed it, in order to avoid the conversation or pulling answers out of her that she would just offer, just to appease the conversation. One day, though, and a few times after, I just decided to ask her about it. Below is a brief detail of what she had said in roughly the past month. Me: "Can you tell me about that guy?" Daughter: "What guy?" Me: "You don't remember that guy?" No. "Well, what about Mr. Longneck?" "Oh, yeah." Her face lights up. "Can you tell me about him?" And various other questions led to, Mr. Longneck is a grown-up. He wears a monster clothes and a hat. He is nice, but also scary. He says trick or treat, but doesn't wear a costume. He lives far away and goes with Santa in the sky to his house where he belongs. She says he comes to our house at nap time, which she no longer has, but was generally in the afternoon. He knocks on our big door, patio door, walks through the kitchen. These were her exact words, and while she was telling me this, was pointing at the path from the door to our living room windows. I ask what he says or does. And among a few things, she mentioned he played in the kitchen with her with a spiny cow toy. This is one of those Fisher Price pull string farm toys. She never plays with it. I rarely see it, and I've never seen it in the kitchen. The specific details in this is so interesting for sure. I also asked if he ever brought a friend to see if I could follow up with the her mentioned earlier. He brings a friend. She's a little girl, not a grown up, and has yellow hair like me. She is never scared of these talks, although she withdraws from the conversation when I ask her about his neck and why it is long. That's pretty much it. You read the whole thing, and I welcome any comments or advice.
Kids, man.
Kids are fucked.
Why? Long neck, that guy, her.
Mm.
Like, how many different spirits is this kid like seeing?
I wonder if that guy is also Mr. Longneck.
I suppose the way that it kind of like transcribed, it sounds like that guy was the name potentially for Mr. Longneck before they got acquainted.
Yeah, and she's only 3, so she might not be connecting them. But holy shit. I don't like the naming. You're not supposed to name it. It forms an attachment.
You're not supposed to name stuff. You're not supposed to like, I don't know, like playing with this one specific toy and then having like objects in the house and like you don't want to attach it to your things, especially if it's still in your house. So what it like the pearl buttons and stuff or whatever, like that's fine because that's probably out of the house. The names in the notebook, that's a little weird. Um,
The fire was interesting. The fire was interesting. There had to have been something with the fire that happened. And like, yeah, it's 2009, whatever, but like, I don't know. I feel like there was something with that started something.
I wonder.
Because they found all these old remnants of the old owners. They were burned, they were damaged. I wonder if they pissed something off.
Maybe. I mean, the fire could have been a result of something happening in the house that like whatever unexplainable, say like there's an electrical short out or something,
Yeah.
that could have been whatever. But like if if the previous owners did something to piss off the spirits and then the fire starts and they uncover this stuff, they just go, oh, then they could have been extra mad because now their like connection is
Well, that's
out
what I'm
and now they're
saying.
trying to like reconnect to things.
Yeah, that's what I mean is I wonder if the fire just tripped something. Like all of their objects and their possessions were destroyed or thrown out or disturbed. So I mean, I feel like that could cause something to just spark. I don't know. That's my theory.
I hate to say it, being connected to like pearl buttons is really weird though.
Well, I mean, maybe not those, but like the book with names. There were some pictures too.
The book with names, maybe. The photos, maybe. I guess it kind of depends.
I don't know. And maybe our theory is completely off. Maybe there was stuff before that, or there's always been stuff. Or they said they also hadn't done any research on the house. What are you doing?
If I was going to be connected to something, it'd probably be an owl. Considering I'm literally wearing my Team Hoot shirt right now and I have these little guys.
Yeah.
So if I die and weird stuff starts happening, just like maybe check all those things.
I'd attach to my grandma's either bracelet or mirror.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Those are my chosen items. I don't know if you get to pick, but
I just feel like I'd be attached to like some weird owl thing.
yeah, you probably would. I'd throw it out.
Good. Get me out of here. Send me on. Get me to the spirit world, like in the afterlife. I don't need to be hanging around here if I'm dead. Freak you out.
Yeah, it would.
You'd smudge my ass too.
Hmm.
Like, get out of here.
Out. No, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. Goodbye.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yep.
No, no, mm-mm. No. I bet they're attached to like the book or something. I want them to look up the history of the home.
That's like the biggest thing with, or like consistent thing with all this is I want to know background. I want to know what's going on. And granted, the house, again, it's like not super old. It's 1920, 1890s, a little older, but like,
I
it's, oh,
read a comment. This may sound strange, but the long neck thing sounds like he might have hung himself.
oh,
I didn't think about that.
I,
Oh, that's unsettling.
like previous owners of the house hung themselves,
Yeah, because they haven't
suicide
done the
inside or
research on it.
something.
Oh.
And then like the photos and like book is from like that's his family, and so he wants to try and keep like a part of that with him, and then they burned and broke that, and then now he's like restless.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
That's a really good comment.
That is so good. Wow. I'm trying to find if there's any other like comments that are just like, hey,
Super speculative or
yeah,
interesting.
enlighten us, please.
That's just it. The internet, as wonderful as my brain is, the internet is 10 times as wonderful.
Yeah, someone asked the mom to tell her daughter to draw what she sees.
Ooh,
That'd be terrifying.
ooh.
Burn those pictures.
Could you imagine
It's
like a
smart to,
children's
yeah.
like drawing with like Crayola of like some really sketchy ass long neck motherfucker that like hung himself? No, no, I don't want to see that. No, No, now we're starting to get into horror movie shit.
I wouldn't want to see it, but I would want to see it to know what she's talking about and get an image in my head.
I have one. I don't need more.
But then you burn it. Burn it, burn it, burn it, burn it. Don't tell her about it. She's in bed, bonfire, burn it.
I feel like you have to burn it away from the house. If you burn it in the house, it's just gonna extra piss him off.
So where are you gonna go to burn it?
I don't know. Park.
A park? I don't think you can. Maybe like a gravel road.
Well, you could do it on a dirt road too, but like,
Yeah,
I
maybe
don't
maybe
know.
that's
There are parks where you've got like, like the little grills.
yeah.
Like that's my thought. Go to like a park with a little grill, shove that shit in there, take a lighter to it or a blowtorch or whatever you got, just like maybe spit on it while it's there too.
I wonder if her grandpa passed away shortly after this
Mm,
because she was talking about her grandpa in the front seat of the car, and I feel like you don't usually see that sort of stuff with your loved ones until they've passed.
but Grandpa was still alive in that scenario.
Well, I know that's what I'm saying. I'm saying that sometimes when people are about to pass, you'll see them in their different forms because they're transitioning into the afterlife and into that spiritual presence. And people have seen them in like dreams or they've gotten weird things happen that have been like, oh my God, it's coming. So I wonder if his death was coming and I wonder if he died shortly after.
Given that we don't have the like context of that, I would assume no.
I would assume no, but like it's just something that my brain wanders to. I don't know. Something that I think about, at least for me, I guess. I just have to analyze it all.
Hmm.
And maybe my brain is just not on one today. Or maybe it is. I don't
See,
know.
you like take every detail and try and break it down and like speculate and do things, and I'm just like, nope, shut it down. Wall,
Yeah, you
put it
shut it
up,
down.
hide. Because yeah, I did get like that one in particular. I did start to get like shivvies and stuff, and
Hmm.
I'm still not sure I'm on the toilet yet, but I'm definitely puckering.
You're puckering.
I'm puckering.
Yeah, just squeeze a little tight.
Who would say it that way?
Well, keep squeezing. Squeeze them cheeks. Get butt of steel. Because we have another one.
We got one more.
We have one more.
Oh man, okay.
Hmm.
We gotta like lightning round this.
Okay. Lightning round. Nah, it'll be good. It'll be good. A good friend of mine told me this story years ago. He is the stereotypical old, big, bad trucker. I've seen some weird stuff with him while driving in South Texas along the border. He never batted an eye. But while telling me this story, he had goosebumps and a concerned expression, from which this guy is about the equivalent of a trembling lip in shit stained pants. I'll tell the story in the first person as he told me. Years ago, in the late 1900s, we're going to restart that. Years ago, in the late 90s, I was on my way from the house in Central Texas, headed to Laredo to pick up a load. It was early morning, around 4 or 5. I had just come off a string of days at home, so I knew I wasn't tired. I am on one of those 2-lane winding roads in the absolute middle of bumfuck nowhere when I see something on the side of the road at the edge of my high beams. At first, I thought it was roadkill, as it usually was the case. As I get closer, I see that it is roadkill, and there's someone crouching over the deer carcass.
No.
I remember thinking either this guy's taking the antlers as a trophy or he's fucking sick. As I got closer still, I can now see that this guy's eating the fucking deer. He's pulling chunks of meat from the stomach and bringing them up to his face. At this point, he stops mid-motion and looks at me. Not at my truck, but at me. He/it stands up, and that's when I nope the fuck out. It's huge, brown, and covered in hair. I remember thinking at this point, oh, fuck. This thing is standing on the tiny shoulder looking at me. By this point, maybe 3 seconds have passed. I'm about the point in the road he's standing at. I didn't even think of stopping. In fact, I'm starting to lay on it and get the hell out. As I'm passing it, it's looking at me. Again, not at the truck. It's looking through the driver's side windshield at me. He's obviously has the intelligence to know that there's a driver in there and knows where I'm sitting. As I start to pass him, I can see its head above the hood of an old needle-nosed Pete, old truck designed in the hood. This thing is fucking giant. I remember seeing what looked like a human, intelligence in its eyes. It scares the shit out of me.
Bigfoot?
That's what they said.
Sasquatch? Or Skinwalker?
Skinwalker is probably the one I'm most likely to believe.
Shit. Why would he slow down?
No, he didn't. He sped up. He laid on it.
Well, that's what, but he had like 3 seconds. So, like, your high beams only go so far. So, if you're on like the side of the road, right, and you've got enough time to see this thing like munching and then to like look at you, stand up and rotate, and then watch you drive by, like making eye contact and stuff, like, he had to have slowed down a little bit to be like, what's that? Like, I would have, if I saw something like leaning over a carcass, like, nope, I'm just foot to the floor, I'm flying past it, and then I'm instantly like ringing the police, like, hey.
I think you're overthinking it. I think it was probably an appropriate amount of time. I think when you're just telling the story at a time feels a lot longer. It was probably only a 5-second occurrence.
Yeah, but I feel like 5 seconds really isn't that long.
That's the point.
Or it is a long time. I guess
He is just very detailed with a vivid memory.
I guess it depends on how fast he's going. Like,
well, how long did it take you to do that? To the mouth, stand up, look?
But to like register that too at the same. Okay, I suppose I have an astigmatism. It might be a little harder for me to see than other people at night. But like, it's still there to be able to register what you're seeing, not just like, oh, maybe it's a deer, back to the road. Like, no, dead thing over the top of it that's gigantic. Get a rough estimate on the height, understand what it's doing, what's going on.
Well,
eye contact.
We're not here to sit here and pick apart how long or how slow. The fact of the matter is, he saw it. It happened. He saw it. You don't see something like that and have all of these raging thoughts that come through. You go past it. You're shitting your pants and you process it after. You just don't live these things to know it. But I've had things happen so quickly that you don't process it in the moment. You get out of there and then you process it. Like then you dissect it. You're like, it was this and this and this and this.
So you're still going to be sitting there driving, go, nope, and just drive away. Instead of and then doing the whole thing. Like, if I saw that, I'm noping out of there.
Well, he did. He stepped on the gas.
Okay.
He did.
We can, well, eventually.
You're debating over 3 seconds.
Yeah, but it's 3 more seconds that the thing could have jumped on his vehicle.
Man, you are on my nerves tonight. You are on one tonight. It is couch for you. It's a couch night for you.
At least we have a comfy couch.
No.
There's also the guest room. I can go sleep in.
No, not allowed. You piss me off too much.
I'll go sleep in Joe's bed.
You're debating the 3 seconds. The point is not to debate the 3 seconds. The point is, what the fuck was it?
Skinwalker, Sasquatch, Bigfoot. You would think if Bigfoot's intelligent enough to stare at you and know what a car is and where you're going to be, you would think it would know to cook its food.
Do you believe in Bigfoot?
No.
Then why are you debating it?
Because that's the podcast.
You're not allowed on anymore.
Oh,
Paige would discuss it with me. Paige would.
We're not discussing?
No, you're debating, and you're trying to prove, and you're trying to yes, 3 seconds. And now I'm gonna need listeners to weigh in on how annoying you're being.
Listeners, please, help me out here.
No. No. None of them are on your side. Absolutely shut down.
I think it's because
you're just reading into that one teacher, well, how fast are you driving? Were you driving 30 miles an hour? 35. How quickly did your foot hit the gas? Harder. Not the point. Not the point.
Did you just shit?
No, I threw up. I was being you. Because, your thoughts, they're going into my brain and I need to throw them back out of my mouth because they're just absurd.
All of this is absurd.
You're not allowed on anymore.
Out.
No more. This is the last time. Say your goodbyes.
Well, thank you for joining us for the evening. I appreciate you guys staying around and listening through this whole experience here. And hopefully you didn't take the whole time that we were doing this on your bathroom break.
I hope they are going to weigh in on your wrongness, though. I do need some sort of comment of, man, he was fucking annoying, kick him off. And I'm going to like it.
Then you're going to like it?
Yeah.
Okay, if you put that in the comments, Shay will like it. I will dislike it, and then we'll just see what ends up happening with the ratio. So.
Nah, we're going to beat your ass. We got it. We know. We know. We know. Peace out, guys. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.